Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Michael Jordan Lukumwa. Elizabeth Nakakuni joins in a sign language interpretation. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has met and held discussions with the former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo this afternoon at State House in Entebbe. The high-level meeting centered on bilateral trade, regional peace and security. During the meeting, President Museveni and his guest also discussed strengthening economic ties between Uganda and Nigeria while exploring collaborative efforts to enhance stability across the region. The Kawempe North by-election campaign has gained momentum with top-ranking officials from the ruling NRM party rallying support for their candidate Farida Nambi. NRM Vice Chairperson Haji Moses Chigongo, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, Amos Nzaire, brother to President Yoweri Museveni, and Minister for Kampala Hajat Minsa Kabanda, among others, have all been actively engaging with the electorate in Kawempe to bolster Nambi's camp.
The National Resistance Movement National Vice Chairperson Haji Moses Chigongo, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, and President Yoweri Museveni's young brother Cedric Nzaire have this Monday campaigned for the NRM flag bearer for ongoing Kawempe North by-election. Speaking at Sena Gardens in Kawempe, Haji Chigongo assured residents that the election of Nambi would resolve many of the pressing issues affecting the constituency. He emphasized the importance of electing representatives affiliated with the ruling party for enhanced service delivery. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja also addressed the rally and encouraged residents to focus on development to uplift the community. Nabanja warned residents against self-seeking politicians and focus on leaders who prioritize development and the well-being of Kawempe residents. Cedric Nzaire, brother to President Museveni, also participated in the mobilization efforts, further strengthening the NRM's position in the area.
My sister Farida Nambi, era Tirusua, Kurokuna, Akaruru, Farida Genda Karia, Kubanga, NRM Biokoze, Vilavika, Suorokoso, School Radio, Fetukora Wansi, era President Abademu Gwangariona, Garava PDM and Gerdiokora, a manifesto Jutaka and Uganda. So, Warero, Tuzewa Nokwasa Bakaruru, Sasanye NRM yejura bade bakyafumba.
Hajat Farida Nambi, the NRM flag bearer, urged the electorate to place their trust in her leadership, promising effective service delivery and a commitment to addressing local challenges.
Bannange njagala okubategeeza nti mulonde Nambi olw'okuba nze siri mujja wa gavumenti, siri mukazi mujja owa gavumenti, ŋŋendayo kuteesa ekitali ku bannange abagendayo okuzoganya sikwewaawo. Ako nno kankizo era kanjawulira ddala ku babaka abalala abakoze eki abeesimbyewo. Muwe NRM tumaze emyaka 2 n'omusobyo nga situfuna member of parliament wano mu Kawempe North owe NRM. Bannange baani abanaalonda Nambi muwanike ku mikono. Kati ako tukamaze naye ng'era njagala kufukamira okubasaba akalulu. Bannange tufukamidde mutuwe akalulu ke NRM. Buli bw'olaba baasi tiikinga. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala okumpuliriza.
President Museveni is expected to visit Kawempe North tomorrow, Tuesday, to further boost the campaign efforts. The by-election is scheduled for Thursday and the NRM is pulling all the stops to ensure victory for their candidate. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, the Uganda police have deployed senior officers to command operations that will man situations during the Kawempe North constituency by-elections happening this Thursday. The force intends to ensure the election free and fair and peaceful, as said by the Uganda Police Force spokesperson, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Rusoke Kituma.
As the date for Kawempe North constituency by-elections come closer, police have strategically deployed senior commanders in all 9 parishes to keep law and order.
So we shall be linking these officers to the candidates. Elections are a very challenging exercise. Sometimes they can explode into something. It's understandable. But what is most important is for us to have mechanisms of trying to address these discrepancies whenever they arise.
Since the beginning of campaigns in Kawempe, security have been accused of manhandling supporters of the National Unity platform. The criticism has prompted police to change the strategy.
And which we need to get to the depth of what went wrong and see how best to fix it. Yes, they have talked about the actions of our officers. Actually, I would prefer we look at the actions of all actors holistically, because there are so many people who behaved in a manner that discomforted the entire process. With the objective, or the end state should be in how best we can solve these issues.
Meanwhile, the security is yet to release a report on what transpired at the NUP headquarters, where an officer is accused of using excessive force on NUP supporters.
Yes, abantu bagamba, DPC, mumukwate, mukole bwe muti. Ate tumanye engeri gye tujja okuhandolingamu ensonga eyo, naye nga tetufunye biragiro okuva mu bantu kinoomu. Kutubulira diro tulina okukwata ono, diro tulina okukola kino. Tumanye ekyokukola.
Furthermore, security has launched investigations into the alleged abduction of Charles Sibukenya, known as Muvawala, also a NUP supporter.
I have given the extent of our engagement with Mr. Muvawala, how we interacted with his driver, and how best we can interact with him if we are to arrive at a logical finding in respect to this speculation. So the police position is very clear. I cannot accuse him of what I am not sure of. Neither should police be accused of what we didn't do. If there is evidence that we are the ones who did it, you bring it out.
Police is calling for public calmness ahead of the Kawempe North constituency by-election scheduled for 13th of March 2025. Security-public collaboration is expected to minimize ugly scenes and unnecessary confrontations. Abdunasin Luwama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
The National Unity Platform also continued with their campaign trail for the upcoming Kawempe North by-election scheduled for the 13th of March 2025. During a rally at Chebando Stadium, their candidate, Luyimba Zinalukola, received significant support from various political figures and organizations.
The National Unity Platform Party, NUP, has intensified its campaign efforts for the upcoming Kawempe North by-election scheduled for Thursday, March 13th, 2025. In addition to NUP's backing, the People's Front for Transition (PFF) and the Alliance for National Transformation (ANT) have joined forces to support Elias Nalukola's candidacy. This coalition underscores a collective effort to consolidate opposition support in the constituency.
Njagala obebazannyo olw'omulimu omunene gwe mukoze muyiyeyo omubiri gwammwe babakubye emiggo naye ne mubagamba nti wadde mutukuba tujja kunywerera ku nsonga.
The rally attracted hundreds of residents from Chebando and the broader Kawempe North area. Attendees were entertained by artists such as King Saha and Rain, who performed in support of Nalukola's campaign. Various members of parliament also addressed the crowd, urging residents to vote for Nalukola and assuring them of his dedication to serving the community effectively.
Kafuru tutambudde ffenna ku nsonga z'eddembe ly'obuntu, ku nsonga za rule of law, ku nsonga za constitutionalism, ku nsonga z'okununula eggwanga. Musajja mmekete.
Councillor Luyimba Zinalukola took the opportunity to encourage his supporters to turn out in large numbers on Thursday, March 13th, to cast their votes.
I'm an advocate of the High Court of Uganda and all parts of judicature. The mandate I'm seeking from you is to legislate. I'm an expert in legislation. Kindly vote in my favor. I will legislate well. I'm aware many will come to you saying vote wisely. I am wisely. When you vote in favor of Nalukola, you'll be voting wisely.
The leader of the opposition in parliament, Joel Senyonyi, and NUP Vice President Buganda Region, Muwanga Chivumbi, also addressed the gathering. They emphasized the critical need for voters to not only participate in the election, but also to remain vigilant in safeguarding their votes throughout the electoral process.
President wa National Unity Platform, OHT wenno Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu abatumidde. Njagala kwebaza bakulembeze bannaffe Ssebongo Lodi ne tiimu gy'ozze nayo okuva mu PFF, Mama Winnie Kiza ne tiimu gy'ozze nayo okuva mu ANT. Kino kye tukoze tulaga nti kisobokera ddala.
As the election date approaches, candidates are employing various campaign strategies, including door-to-door engagements to reach out to their voters. Jamil Sekaja compiled this report for UBC News.
That is how it is in Kawempe, and we'll keep you posted. Now, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has destroyed 158,000 older version passport booklets. Simon Mundei, the ministry's spokesperson, says that the passports were not collected for many years despite constant announcements.
The destruction of 158,000 passports by the Ministry of Internal Affairs follows the transition from the old version of passport booklets to electronic passports. The ministry first rendered these passports invalid upon failure by the applicants to collect them.
These are our Ugandans. They came out, they responded, they applied for these passports, they paid for them, but they could not pick these passports. So what would we do? We have been calling out. We don't have where to keep these passports. So we went ahead and destroyed 158,000.
The destroyed passports are worth 39.5 Ugandan billion shillings.
Without URA receiving the money, the passport system cannot proceed. So just to know that these passports cost 39.5 billion. That have gone to waste for people who have either failed to pick their passport or utterly refused to pick their passport.
According to the ministry, another bunch of uncollected electronic passports, totaling to 12,580, are in the backlog of the ministry,
which are lying in our stores. These were between the year 2018 up to now. We have called out the applicants, we have sent messages, we have talked about these passports. We cannot, of course, publish these passports because of the privacy law prevailing.
In addition to the backlog, the Internal Affairs Ministry also has at least 60,000 passports returned by labor export companies.
They are still valid, and we have them. We call upon all Ugandans who were not able to travel abroad for Cheyo to come and check on these passports. If yours falls in there, please, we actually return it to you free of charge.
On several occasions, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has come out to call the public to pick their passports with intention to minimize backlog. Komagum Rogers and Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC.
Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Nitamong, has stressed the need for African countries to take the lead in fostering peace within the continent. She commended African leaders for strengthening ties of unity and cooperation among was speaking to a delegation of members of Parliamentary Forum from the Great Lakes region, led by Zambian Speaker Nelly Butete.
The Minister for Security, Major General Jim Muwezi, has held a community meeting in Nachinengo.
To pursuing peace in the region. As Africans, we've always agreed in all the fora where we are and wherever we meet that African problems can only be solved locally. They need local solutions. And this pursuit that you're doing, moving from one country to the other country, meeting the heads of state, in terms of how best can we get peace in the country, especially in those countries that are disturbed, is a very good initiative. And that heart of reconciliation. We may be having everything, we have gold, we have all kinds of minerals, But when we don't have peace in the country, we don't have security, we are nobody. And it is us ourselves who should be able to bring peace and security in our countries. Nobody should come somewhere to say, we make a trade-off. Let me give you something and I create peace. Peace can only be created by ourselves, which we should be doing it, and we must do it as Africa.
Interact, even this regional integration cannot prosper. We say peace is a precursor to development. So without peace we cannot develop, and we don't want to invite strangers to come and intervene in our affairs when we have responsible leaders in our presidents who can be able to take charge and take the responsibility to guide the other citizens in all the countries to ensure that we have peace and stability in the region. Went to Namgogo, very, very inspiring, and we believe that, when a country is anchored on a religion, whether it is Christianity or Muslim, people live together in harmony with each other because they know ultimately there is a God out there who is looking after us, all of us, to ensure that we live in peace and harmony. Because without peace, the women and the children are the ones who suffer most. So we need to maintain that peace.
Minister for Security and MP for Rujumbura Rukungiri District, Jim Museveni, has urged Rukungiri residents to avoid politicizing government programs and instead focus on developmental initiatives. Museveni held a community meeting in Nachinengo and Katoma parishes to discuss project implementation and new initiatives in areas such as road construction, water provision and electricity.
The Minister for Security, Major General Jim Museveni, has held a community meeting in Nachinengo and Katoma parishes, Rukungiri district, to address pertinent issues in the district. The meeting was attended by district officials, engineers and local residents who discussed the district's development plans. Key focus areas included improved access to essential services and infrastructure development.
For the purpose of maintaining the roads in good condition is to ensure that they can easily access the markets and sell the agricultural produce, including the livestock.
Discussions also highlighted the construction of new water points, the rehabilitation of broken water sources, and sanitation facility upgrades. Minister Jim Museveni reaffirmed the government's commitment to improving the livelihoods of Ugandans through community development projects. Local residents expressed their appreciation for the government's efforts, citing the positive impact of improved infrastructure. The manager of National Water and Sewage Corporation in Rukungiri, Barbara Amumpire, and District Water Engineer Deus Twekwase commended the government for expanding water supply.
The Honourable Minister has done his part. He has lobbed money, 1 billion from National Water, to carry out these projects. So far, the money that we are using is part of that money. We are already constructing a reservoir tank of 165 cubics per day at Katero Kengoma. So I request the residents not to disturb him anymore. Instead, they should disturb us to make sure that we finish what we have already started. I want to thank Honorable Minister Jim Museveni for the cooperation and the lobbying capacity and supporting National as an organization. Because without his efforts or without his support, we wouldn't have been able to secure the kind of fund that we've received to carry out these projects in Nachinengo.
Museveni's engagement with stakeholders and locals underscored the government's commitment to regional development. Charity Marion Imnat and Kenneth Tanaba for UBC.
Students are calling for increased awareness in schools about the major causes of cancer and how it can be prevented. Records from the Uganda Cancer Institute indicate that at least 34,000 new cancer cases are registered annually.
Cancer remains a major threat to Uganda's health sector, with at least 34,000 new cases recorded every year. Students are advocating for increased awareness in schools about the causes and prevention of cancer.
The government, first of all, should allocate more funds to the health sector, because the health sector is not very well funded. Like the cancer patients there are very many, and the facilities that are used to treat them are not adequate. And they should also call for funds from people. They should start donation drives, like public donation drives, where people can give money to these patients.
Students from St. Mary's College Chisubi through the Children Caring and Cancer Club mobilized other schools for a charity run aimed at raising funds for the Uganda Cancer Institute Children's Ward.
And we usually collect money and items for the cancer patients. And in our free time, those who are in S6 VAC or Form 4 VAC usually go there and here to do activities like taking care of patients, interacting with them. Then also they have also cancer runs in halls to also collect money for their projects, and usually volunteer as students. This is not as a club, this is students. But we know as a club that we are also spreading awareness. We get knowledge from doing these things, talking to the patients.
To raise some money, initially it was to buy a tent, but we noticed that a tent was bought for them. So right now we're aiming to help them with food, because as a cancer patient you need to have at least more than 1 meal a day, and they only have 1 meal a day, and this is provided by a donor. So the reason as to why we came to the SMAC Color Run is that we can all share the cause together, because we also have connections and we have experience at the Cancer Institute. So uniting in order to share this was really good for us.
The patron of the Children Caring for Cancer Club, Claire Natukunda, emphasized the importance of instilling a sense of care and responsibility in the younger generation.
Everyone should join this cause, because we cannot only wait on the government to support our hospitals, to support the patients and give them free treatment, and so everyone should join in and help.
More awareness about the common causes of cancer is needed, as it poses a significant public health threat and increases the burden of.
We thank you so much for watching. Let's take a very short break. On return, we'll have more.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Hey, Mkowe High School. Na wana tufunye wo muwanguzi wa MTN Momo. Ye wangu de school fees ezo mwaka mulamba tebereza. Hey, owulira otya mutima kati.
Banange sanyu lyenye nali amochi wago nyanjaga nyangu amali walonze erinyo.
Esushi?
Njani awangula school fees.
Eza Momo.
Eza Momo.
Ezo mwaka mulamba.
Okumala mwaka mulamba de musanyu.
Oh my goodness.
Banange MTN mwenye yanza ne yanze.
Wanje?
Mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala.
Nkubiriza muzadde munnange yonna gy'oli. Wallahi tatulia school fees for Momo Pay.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You are now entered a draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
Amazina ganje Ninyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri, ndio muhanguzi wa miliyoni 18 na Uganda National Rotary. Nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko ndio muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo nedi y'abafere sente ziriyo zone bakaziteka nko nazihangwira.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win. Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Several permanent residential, commercial and business structures have been demolished around Chibiri A Buziga, Machinde division, as part of an operation to restore the degraded Kalidubi wetland. The operation was carried out by the Environmental Protection Force under NEMA in collaboration with the Ministry of Water and other security agencies. At the end of 2024, NEMA initiated the process to restore the Kalidubi wetland by issuing eviction notices and conducting sensitization meetings with the affected residents.
Permanent residential, commercial and makeshift structures have been brought down in Chibiri A, Buziga, Machinde division in an operation to restore the degraded wetland of Kalidubi.
The place is dry, and this is UNRWA paid part of those people when they are passing that Internet Express. But why are they not coming now today? We cannot agree with them. Let them kill us. We make it a day. Life is life, and death is death. Let us make it. It is complete. Period.
At the end of 2024, NEMA conducted the initial process to restore the degraded wetland through engagement with the affected residents and issuance of eviction notices. Despite being given over 21 days to vacate peacefully, many residents failed to comply with the notices. To enforce the restoration, NEMA and partner agencies proceeded with the demolition of both permanent and makeshift structures in Chibiri after expiry of the eviction notices.
And we expect to go carry out this work until all these areas are restored.
Many affected residents were left in distress as graders brought down their homes and businesses. Some of the residents have called on government for consideration, urging that their land does not fall within the designated wetland of Kalidubi.
Please help us also to get us somewhere to be staying with our people, our things. Even other people, they have not even taken their children to school. Please.
Reports indicate that some affected individuals had already sought legal recourse through the East African Court after receiving the eviction notices in 2024. Others had petitioned NEMA challenging their eviction and are still awaiting a response.
From East African Courts of Justice, we sued the government of Uganda. At least the court could hear us, and then they determined this matter. But they did not even allow the court to listen this matter. They just brought in police, army, and whatever, and the goons, just to destroy our properties.
Of recent, that's the last year, December, NEMA comes and says, this is the NEMA. We said, are you sure? Let's go to court. We are in the court. Court said we are judging on December 27th. Up to date, no judgment.
NEMA has stated that areas where residents have filed petitions will be handled upon completion of the process.
It's not true that these people took us to the courts of law, but what is true is that some people in cars there have written to the ED expressing interest in having a chat with him about the restoration orders that were served to them.
Other areas where eviction notices have expired and are due for demolition include Bugu, Ndeje, Chibiri, and Buziga. NEMA has urged all those still occupying gazetted wetland areas to vacate voluntarily to avoid forced eviction. The wetland restoration exercise conducted under Cap 181 of the National Environment Act is scheduled to continue for a full week. Susan Naung and Michael Bakabulindi reporting for UBC TV.
Members of Parliament supporting the proposed Food and Nutrition Bill currently under draft want mandatory establishment of national, district and household food reserves to curb food insecurity challenges. The bill formulation, now in its final stages, is expected to for the first reading in April this year.
Whereas Uganda boasts as a regional food basket and a net food exporter, the 2024 Global Hunger Index shows 36.9% of population is undernourished, 25.4% of children under 5 are stunted, 3.6% of children under 5 are wasted, and 4.1% of children die before their 5th birthday. On 24th September 2024, Muma Milton, the MP for Chugulu South, was granted leave by Parliament to draft a private member's food and nutrition bill. It proposes mandatory establishment of national and district food reserves by the state as a safety net for Uganda's response to food emergencies.
The key objectives in the bill is one, to provide for food reserves at national level, at district level, and at family level. When we were growing up, we grew up with the homesteads having granaries, having regional food centers and national food reserves. As we talk, they are not in place, they are non-existent. Whenever our country is hit by disasters, for example, famine, disasters like rains, flooding, we always run to the office of the Prime Minister, whereby we normally manage a crisis situation. So we are looking at us having a planned way of responding to disasters. In the case of food crisis, food shortages, or need for relief supplies, we should have a fallback that go to the food reserves, pick these quantities of food, and send to people.
To strongly curb food insecurity at family level, the proposed bill provides for mandatory establishment of family food reserves by a household head. Failure to do so attracting a year conviction or a fine of 20 currency points for that household head.
If we don't put a deterrent law, our people take it for granted. There are other families, they have land, but they rent it out. Yet they're having issues on food security. At wherever you have planted, you have to sell, but leave this number of sacks or this portion for food security.
The bill also proposes regulating of unhealthy junk foods sold around schools' premises. It also proposes a quickened establishment of government-supported school feeding program and standardized feeding in schools.
Because when children are growing up, I think there are certain kind of foods that they must consume without over-consuming others that may not be very useful. I think that is proper.
Crispus Arinitwe, UBC News.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What did we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Hey, Nkowe High School. Na wana tufunye wo muwanguzi owa MTN momo. Ye wangu de school fees ezo mwaka mulamba tebereza. Hey, owuliro otya mutima kati.
Banange sanyu byenye lya mwoki wago nyanjaga nyangu wamali walonze erinyo.
Shishi?
Njani awangula school fees.
Eza momo.
Eza momo.
Ezo mwaka mulamba.
Mwaka mulamba ndi musanyu.
Oh my goodness.
Banange MTN mwene yaza ne yaze.
Wanje?
Mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala.
Nkubiriza muzadde munange yonna gy'oli. Wallahi sasulia school fees for Momo Pay.
Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You will now enter the draw to win school fees for your child for a whole year.
According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Census Report of 2016, in Uganda, 12.4% of the population, about 4.5 million, live with a disability. Limited access to ICT and assistive technologies increases digital disparities, prompting UCOSAF's aim to promote digital inclusiveness for persons with disabilities. The ICT for People with Disability program aims to improve the accessibility of education and technology for persons with disabilities and promote their full and effective participation in society. UCOSAF is implementing this program through the creation and maintenance of an online observatory for persons with disabilities intended to link persons with disabilities with service providers and different programs that empower them, and provision of adaptive tools that enhance their quality of life through ICTs and digital skilling.
The Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited has partnered with Bujagali Energy Limited to establish an exchange program. The collaboration is aimed at easing maintenance works in the energy generation business.
Of Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited and Bujagali Energy Limited is intended to foster exchange programs ranging from safety management and reliable power generation.
Safety management systems. Now clearly we have differences in our systems. There's no right approach to anyone, but what we will be doing from here on is we'll be getting our teams together and we'll be swapping personnel, and we'll be looking for what are the best practices in each and seeing how we can leverage off those to move or improve collectively.
During the visit of the Bujagali power plant in Jinja, the UEGL committed to leverage on private power investors' experience for further collaboration in maintaining the hydroelectric power plants.
We are going to have an exchange program so that whenever we are carrying out major maintenance works, we can have a team coming from UEGCL to work together with the Bujagali team.
Personnel exchanges, and all of this I think will help us learn the best from each other and both grow together. What that will mean from an industry perspective, it's going to make us more effective as generators.
The two power generation companies have agreed on the optimal utilization of the River Nile, since some plants are located at the upstream while others are the downstream of each other.
We share the River Nile, so whatever happens upstream Bujagali, you have operations of Kiranalubare. What is downstream Bujagali, we have Isimba hydropower plant.
UEGL is a government-owned power generation company. It operates 5 generation plants, while Bujagali Energy Limited is a private entity operating the second largest power generation plant in Uganda with a production capacity of 250 megawatts. Bujagali contributes 31% on the national electricity grid. Cayenne Faith, Regan Ahomuza for UBC.
Over 1,000 farmers and entrepreneurs from Mawogola in Zimbabwe have completed a 4-day business training program hosted by Enterprise Uganda. The program aims at transforming local agricultural practices into professional, market-driven businesses, provided participants with crucial skills to capitalize on Mawogola's rich agricultural potential, including its fertile land, abundant water resources, and growing coffee and dairy industries.
The training, which focused on turning subsistence farming into sustainable income-generating ventures, addressed key sectors such as coffee and dairy farming. Local farmers, historically reliant on inconsistent practices, were taught methods for improving coffee cultivation and pest control, while dairy farming was positioned as a promising opportunity for both local consumption and value-added products like butter, yogurt and cheese.
First of all, when you come to Mawogola, one thing you see is they have a lot of land. The moment you have got a lot of land, you are open to dairy farming, other livestock farming, but also this place has got some good portions where water tables are not so deep. meaning the water is quite abundant in some parts of Maogola, and they can be engaging in crop farming, specifically bananas and coffee. And I've seen coffee plantations, banana plantations are here, but they need to be looked after better, so that instead of getting more and more part of Maogola getting dry, it can actually begin to reclaim itself. And I've seen even agroforestry taking place.
Beyond agriculture, the program sought to address Maogola's dependency on government grants like the Emyoga and Parish Development Model. The Member of Parliament for Maogola South, Gorethi Namuga, says despite these initiatives offering temporary relief, many beneficiaries have struggled to turn the funds into long-term wealth.
We are going to move Maogola from this level where we've been to another level. In the next 2 years, you'll find a totally different community. We shall not be relying on political leaders for these peanuts. Honorable, I've seen you, I will not suffer anymore. 100,000, 10,000, that kind of tendency should stop. We should give people more than giving these, hard cash from wherever you find them. So I'm very convinced this is going to benefit my people, and we shall lift the incomes of our people.
A significant challenge for entrepreneurs in Maogola is the difficulty in accessing affordable capital.
So our sources of capital, currently, there's a challenge in that the loans are very expensive in terms of interest rate. So when the government comes in and lowers the interest rate, we as entrepreneurs, we are going to find it a bit affordable and run our businesses smoothly.
Local leaders expressed optimism that the newly acquired skills will foster a more prosperous future for Maogola.
Participants from various factories under the Uganda Manufacturers Association have undergone a 3-day training to enhance their marketing skills. The training focused on key areas such as communication and sales mastery, foundations of marketing excellence, and leveraging on digital marketing platforms.
Other courses would you like UMA to organize for you?
I do also appreciate the fact that we have come to a realization in Uganda that there has been a gap. In fact, when you go to certain countries, you hardly find key Ugandans in key positions. And because of that realization, we are saying let's not take a back seat. What can we do about it? As the Uganda Manufacturers Association, time has come to embrace the membership that we have and say, if we did the training needs assessment among our members, where are we lacking?
In Uganda, we are having great products, but not everybody knows about what we are doing. So we need to market our products better. So we need better marketeers, we need good salesmen and women so that we can put our products out to the market. Kenya buys a product from Uganda, they market it better than we do.
It was both theoretical and practical. With practical, we all participated. We gave our different experiences, our different knowledge that we know in sales and marketing. Theoretical, we had facilitators who gave us more knowledge, and they're going to be sharing some of the slides that they had. So we're going to probably read more, and we never stop learning as salespeople.
I've just realized that if you maximize knowledge, you can minimize error. According to what we have learned today, we are going to be better people, we are going to do more sales, we are going to achieve too much. Actually, it has not really been enough. We needed more and more and more of this.
Uganda Railways Corporation, assisted by police, has evicted new encroachers from the railway line in Namamve. Some illegal occupants vacated voluntarily, while others waited and await for compensation from government due to their prolonged presence.
Encroachers on the railway line in Namamve have been evicted. Some of the encroachers voluntarily vacated the premises, while others had to be forcefully evicted. Uganda Railway Authority coordinated the operation with the police, ensuring a smooth and peaceful eviction.
Out Uganda, where the railway line has been passing. So it's a signal. Whoever is in any part of the country where the railway line is passing should know that we shall be there. We shall still clear, because this is an alternative means of transport that the government is trying to revamp so that it cuts on the costs and expenditures.
says some of the occupants remain on the land as they await government compensation due to their prolonged residency.
All these efforts are geared towards having our reserve without any new encroachers. It should be noted that there are encroachers that are still there but have been there for a long time. These are going to be there until government that promised to give them something, to pay them something. Until that time when they've gotten that resettlement package, they will leave. But
the eviction exercise continues in Kampala as authorities work to remove illegal settlers from the reserve land of the Uganda Railway. Bantu Machawe Semambo, Ivan Juko, UBC News.
The emergency of internet-run digital streaming decoders in the Ugandan pay TV market has significantly impacted on the profitability of existing service providers. These providers claim that these devices enable unregulated market retailers to profit from television content without having the jurisdictional rights to broadcast it. Despite regulatory warnings to the traders supplying these decoders, consumers view this as a digital disruption.
This is a StarSat decoder, one of several brands of internet-run decoders currently available on the Ugandan market, offering up to 400 channels of international television and radio stations.
Kasita gwobeera ng'olina dish yonna connection ebeera automatic, kasita obeera ng'olina data.
According to UCC, these products were first reported in 2023 by existing regulated market players, MultiChoice, StarTimes, and others. The regulator then confirmed through a letter early in February this year to the Uganda National Bureau of Standards that these devices are imported from Dubai but manufactured in China.
We are cautious that individuals have been able to work with persons outside of this country. First of all, to import decoders. These decoders basically come into this country and they are not known by the regulator. Any communication device imported into Uganda has to be type approved by the Uganda Communications Commission. It has to be type approved to be suitable for our market. It should be suitable for the bandwidth that has been provided for communication services. Otherwise, there are risks in running a piece of equipment that has not been type approved for our country.
Speaking to the PR and communications manager of MultiChoice Uganda, the suppliers of these decoders locally are not licensed by the regulator and have not paid for the rights to broadcast this content in Uganda.
Rights must be paid for, and when they are paid for, people pay subscription. When subscription is paid, it means that there is tax that's coming through to government, because our subscription, and I'm sure a number of customers do receive a fiscalized receipt of sort directly from URA to say, you know, you've paid for your DSTV, your GoTV subscription, and this is your receipt. So government does make money out of this. And that money is what is used to run the economy.
Users of these decoders, especially in the central region, have grown into their hundreds of thousands. This trend can be attributed to their affordability and ease of use. Once you have a dish from any service provider installed, one can access over 400 premium TV and radio stations at 20,000 shillings per month, 55 shillings for 3 months, with 140,000 shillings guaranteeing you a year of premium content. This money is paid digitally to an offshore receiver. These amounts are far below what local licensed players are offering.
I suggest pay TV stations to reduce on the subscription fees, because many Ugandans would love to watch football, especially Premier League, La Liga, at a cheaper cost. But you find DSTV to watch Premier League and La Liga, you pay over 200,000.
What I would like people to know is that your team, the one that you love to watch, some of the money that is paid for these rights actually trickles down to the clubs.
Consumers accuse digital pay TV service providers for propagating monopolistic business practices on Ugandans.
This is the era of fiber. It's this era of smart technology, whatever. We all have smartphones. It simply means that we have other choices. And then consider one thing, that also not everybody has that money. So consumers are also overstretched. And with the new innovations coming to the market, actually what the customers are expecting, the old players in the market will at least drop their prices. But unfortunately, you notice that some of them have maintained the price. Others have actually hiked it because they claim they are overtaxed. And this is now forcing majority of the public to look elsewhere.
The regulator, however, deems these devices illegal and warns of their potential to facilitate cybercrime.
In terms of encryption.
As the matter is investigated further, it is easy for consumers to view this as technological disruption. However, legal steps to obtain licensing and gaining broadcasting rights for the content shown on most channels have been breached. Wadulo Arnold Mark, UBC News, in
Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Mong, welcomed former Liverpool and Senegalese football legend Elhadji Diouf at her residence in Nakasero, Kampala. Diouf, a two-time African Footballer of the Year, is in Uganda for a 4-day tour aimed at inspiring young athletes and promoting the country's image on the global stage. He remains one of Africa's most celebrated footballers, remembered for his contributions to Senegal's golden generation of the early 2000s. He played a pivotal role in leading the Lions of Teranga to the 2002 AFCON final and the quarterfinals of the FIFA World Cup in South Korea and Japan.
Teams including Sharks, Wrens, Lens, Bolton Wanderers, Doncaster Rovers, Blackburn Rovers, Leeds United and English giants Liverpool FC. Diouf arrived in Uganda on Saturday, and his visit is expected to have a lasting impact on both the sports and culture sectors.
You know, that's what I always say. And thank you for my president, Mr. Mogogo. And why I'm here for two reasons. Because I know the hard work Mr. Mogogo do for his country, for his job as a president of the Federation Football, and how the Ugandese Football Federation going well, how football going well here as well, and that's why today. For this Afghan coming, Uganda is there. Uganda is going to be there. They're going to fighting to making all Uganda being very proud of your countries. Like what they always say, I'm African. If I'm here is for one reason: we have to be together. We have to be together. We have to work together, because I don't believe what people say every time to say Africa is a future. No, Africa is a present.
Today, the Senegalese International met with Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Among, to discuss key issues on how Uganda can learn from the success of Senegalese Football Federation.
It does not mean that you must strictly go to school for you to be to have a white-collar job, but you can be in football and be a successful person. And that's why he's in Uganda scouting for talents and looking out for people who can be able to go and play football in professional or in a professional way in international countries, and is here to inspire the youth outside there who have the talents. We have so many youth who have the talents, but is here to inspire them as somebody who has made it, who has come from nowhere, from nothing to somewhere. And when he told me his story yesterday, I said, okay, that makes the two of us. We come from nowhere and we are now somewhere.
Earlier, Diouf met the Uganda Under-17 national team Cubs, currently in a residential camp at the FUFA Technical Center in Njeru, as they prepare for the upcoming AFCON Under-17 tournament in Morocco. He also held discussions with key football stakeholders, including his close associate, FUFA President Engineer Moses Magogo. Diophi's 4-day visit, organized by the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, will also include a tour of the Big Talent Soccer Academy, a project funded by musician Eddie Kenzo.
And I think thank you to my brother Eddie. I know for so long, and we're one of the best ambassadors for Africa. You know, music and football go well. You cannot play football if you don't know how to dance.
Reporting for EBC TV News, Helen Barbara.
State Minister for Higher Education Dr. Jesse Muyingo has committed to continue supporting the youth in Bamunanika constituency socially and economically, and also promote their talents through sports and games.
Business came to a standstill on Gayaza Busiko Road at Kiziri Trading Center in Bamnanika Luero as sports supporters welcomed Minister Dr. Jesse Muyingo to launch Dr. Muyingo Football Tournament. Dr. Muyingo was escorted in a convoy of motor vehicles. Boda cyclists to Nachole Busika passed through Busika Town Council amidst celebrations. At Nachole Busika Playground, before launching the tournament, Dr. Muyingo donated consignment of sports jerseys, footballs and cash to the 43 teams participating in the tournament. The State Minister for Education promised to continue supporting the youth in the sports. He encouraged them to utilize the sports and games activities to unite and engage in government programs aimed at poverty alleviation. The match between Vumba FC and Kamira FC kicked off and ended in a goalless draw. Charity Marion Imnat and Salongo Kasbante.
Yes, lawyers also once in a while engage in sports activities. We also have a story here about lawyers and how they embrace sports for their own physical benefit.
Nkumba University hosted the 2025 annual Uganda Law Students Association's Sports Gala, where legal scholars battled it out in football and volleyball.
It is happening for the 6th time. This is a tradition for Uganda Law students to come together and leave books aside and then concentrate on sports.
It is intended so more to have students of law engage not only in academics but as well to something that can give them mental health, mental wellness, to understand. So we're looking at different awardings, of course, to the best teams, to the best players in the different games. We've been so much considered in football, basketball and volleyball as the competitive games, and other games have been left out for just fun.
The unpredictable weather was no match for the determined sportsmen and women who carried on during the rains, eager to win as many matches as they could. The games were played in honor of women in law practice and schooling, highlighting a message of further gender inclusion initiatives in Uganda's legal framework and oversight.
This time round, the president is a lady and from Islamic University in Uganda Females Campus, that is none other than Namleme Angela. So this is an achievement to IUIU, and it is an achievement to us as ladies as we put up this sports gala on our Women's Day to remember and to honor the works of the women.
Participating universities in the 2025 annual Uganda Law Students Association's Sports Gala included Makerere University, Islamic University of Uganda, Nkozi University, Kampala International University, Ndeje University, Uganda Christian University, among others. Wadulo Arnold Mark, UBC News.
We thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakun and the whole team. Bye-bye and good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Hello everyone, today we're going to discuss a critical topic that could potentially save lives: the top 10 signs of a heart attack. It's crucial to be aware of these warning signals and act promptly. Before we start, please remember that this information is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you suspect a heart attack, seek emergency medical attention immediately. Number 1. Chest pain or discomfort. The most common symptom of a heart attack is chest pain or discomfort. It may feel like squeezing, fullness, pressure, or pain in the center of the chest. This sensation can last for more than a few minutes or may come and go. Number 2. Shortness of breath. Shortness of breath is another significant sign. If you're having difficulty breathing or experiencing sudden and unexplained shortness of breath, it could be a warning signal. Number 3. Upper body discomfort. Pain or discomfort in the arms, neck, jaw, back, or stomach